Hey my friend, today let's write some chord progressions in major keys without sounding too cheesy. We've all heard things like these in the past, right? It doesn't help that I whistle, right? Or things like... This sounds pretty cheesy to me. I don't know what is your cheese factor, and maybe you think also, right, you play up-tempo and with certain strum patterns. If you remove that, it sounds less cheesy. And you are right, but it's also in the chords that we choose. In my examples that I just played, what is common between all the chords I played is that they are all major chords. So my first tip to play in major keys and not sound cheesy is to incorporate some minor chords into it too. So if you harmonize a major key, for example, we're going to stay in the key of E major for this lesson. We can harmonize the whole scale and find 7 different chords. So in our case, we're going to get E, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A, B, C sharp minor, and D sharp diminished, and back to E. So we have all of these chords. That we can choose to create our chord progression and stay in the key of E major, right? And it's very rare that we use the diminished chord. It's hard to use it in the context of this song. So now we have basically 6 chords that we can choose. And the problem when it sounds too cheesy is that the composers stay in the major chord. So if we look at the function of the chords, we have the root chord, which is E, we have the 4 chord, which is A, and we have the 5 chord, which is B. So if you stay too much in the 1, 4, 5, that's gonna sound super cheesy. So my first tip is actually to incorporate minor chords in between of what I call the cheese chords, right? The 1, 4, 5. So you can still use these chords, but don't use them in succession one after another. Try to put some of the other chords in between them. So instead of having this, what if I put the minor chords too? I could get something like this. Right, so you saw what I did here. I started with my E, which is a cheese chord, so I decided to play minor chords after it. I played C sharp minor, G sharp minor, and then I played another cheese chord, which is A, so I opted to place another minor chord after it, which is F sharp minor. So to me, it helps to smoothen out the cheese factor and spread it out in a way that it sounds smoother to me. It's not just na, 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 like this, right? And if you want to go a little bit further than this, because it still sounds happy-ish, but if you want something that goes further, you can use the Mixolydian mode, which has a different flavor. In fact, that's going to help to tame the little tension of the 5 chord that wants to go to the root chord. That little relationship is really, really cheesy. And by getting and using the Mixolydian mode, we are getting rid of that. So the Mixolydian mode is very, very close to the Ionian mode, which is the major scale that we've been using. So if I play an E major scale, that's gonna go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. But if I play a Mixolydian mode, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. And it's really that. It's really this kind of sound that's gonna extract a little bit of the cheesiness in it for me. It sounds less cheesy when you use the Mixolydian mode. So we could take that scale and find 7 new chords in our sequence. So if I harmonize the Mixolydian mode in E, I'm gonna get E, F sharp minor. The third chord is actually gonna be G sharp diminished. So we're not gonna use it a lot. We get A, and then we get B minor instead of major, C sharp minor, and D. So we get all of these chords. So the two most notable chords that are different are that the B is usually major, but now it's minor. And that we usually get a D sharp diminished that we don't really use, and we are gonna replace it by a D chord. So it's basically the flat 7 chord. So you can take any root chord, in our case it's E, and you just go 2 semitones lower. 1, 2, and you get your flat 7. And it's a sound that you get a lot in rock music, right? Right, so I use the flat 7 of the Mixolydian mode and then the 4 and the 1 chord. But in my case, I don't want to play the 4 and 1 one after another because it gets cheesy, like I said, right? So if we use the Mixolydian mode, it helps a lot, especially because of those little changes. So I could have a progression. Let's say I use E, and then I'm going to use B minor, which is my 5 chord, but minor instead. Maybe I can play those twice. And maybe I can play other minor chords like C sharp minor and F sharp minor, and then I can end on D and go back to E. So I would get a progression like this. So I like it a lot more. To me, it sounds less cheesy. It has a personality that is really different. But beware, don't do like some of the rock songs where you just play sus4 chords everywhere, because now the cheese factor goes through the roof if you do that, even if you stay in the Mixolydian mode. Like I said, if I played the chord progression like I played at the beginning, if you play sus4 everywhere, to me, that's a big no-no if you don't want to get cheesy with it. So try to avoid or use sus4 chords not all the time like this, right? So if you want to write in a major key and not sound cheesy, for me, the trick, just a little recap, is to play some minor chords in between of your 1, 4, or 5 chords. And you can also use the Mixolydian harmonization to have cool chords, and you could even blend both. You could have your major key and just borrow a few chords from the Mixolydian mode, and that can add some great result to it. So I hope that you enjoyed this lesson, and if you want to go further with me, I have a free mini course on ambient guitar chords on my website. You would learn more about harmonization. Why do we choose these chords to harmonize a key? Where they come from? I'm gonna explain all of that in my mini course, and you can enroll for free by clicking on the first link in the description box. This is a course totally for free on my website. It takes about 45 minutes to watch, and you can download the chords and exercises charts for free on my website too. So this is my gift to you, and I hope that you will enjoy it. All right, thank you for watching, and until next time, au revoir.